Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Spiritual Conversation. I'm Jacqueline Claire, and today I wanted to talk about spiritual realism. We're going to talk about art, but also this concept, spiritual realism, as a big picture mindset and how it can help enrich your life. And first off, let's just get out of the way that when I talk about spiritual, I am referring to our eternal souls. However that exploration or development is expressed for you, that is what I'm referring to. So it should be very universal and applicable to any and all religious practice. I'm not referring to like spiritualism, which is more of a new age practice that might involve crystals and different explorations like that. I'm talking about your soul growth, that eternal nature. Okay? So spiritual realism is my genre of art. It is a mingling of abstract expressionism and representational art meant to combine to represent the seen and the unseen elements of life. Also, the imagery I tend to use has this mystical or dreamlike quality, which also goes hand in hand with this idea of spiritual realism. But spiritual realism is more than just a style of art. It represents a whole approach to life. One is that our spiritual nature, the spiritual dimension of life, is what is real for us. We are tempted to see what is real as that which we can see and touch, which is a natural assumption to make. But I believe that that part is a challenge, is an illusion, is a distraction, and that actually it's what we cannot see and touch that is real. The development of our souls, our receptivity to the inspiration and guidance of the Holy Spirit, our prayers, our intentions, our virtues, which are like heavenly rays that we can express. So all of that is what is actually real, and it is the growth and development and exploration of that part of ourselves that is the actual purpose of why we are here. It's actually the big picture. Spiritual realism is also an attitude. It is an approach that I like to take and apply to the path of spiritual growth and talking about spiritual growth, that we be real about that process, that walking the spiritual path is often very lumbering and awkward, and we get sweaty and we get stubbed toes. Essentially that it is humbling to aim for our loftiest ideals, but it is in being honest and humorous, being real about those humbling challenges, while also maintaining the importance of continuing to aim for those lofty goals, that we can actually support each other and grow the most. So that's spiritual realism in a nutshell. Again, it's an art genre that combines abstract and realism with this mystical imagery, but it is also what is real, our spiritual nature, and it's also an attitude to take towards spiritual growth. You might have noticed that life itself is incredibly distracting. It's one thing to listen to a podcast like this, go to a prayer gathering, go to church on Sunday, and remember, oh yes, my life is for God, or my life is for growth, or there's a bigger picture here. But then, our alarm's going off on Monday, and we've got bills to pay, and we have appointments to make, and we're on the highway. All these things are just very, very distracting, very, very immediate. The growth of your soul may be the purpose of your life, but you have these like immediate challenges of getting to work at a specific time. Like in this moment, actually just getting out of this traffic jam is the most important thing. And that is just baked into the pie. That's just the way that life is. But I personally believe that since that is the way that life is, we can go to yoga on or at 7 a.m. We can go to yoga at 7 and still find ourselves being a jerk to someone on the highway by noon. That we need reminders. We need little beautiful tokens of reminders, whether it's plants in your home, something alive that is a silent presence and reminder of the eternal. Or I also feel art is specifically potent in this area. One, because you can purposely bring it into your home with that attitude. You can give it a sense of consecration. And you say, I am bringing this token into my life, and I'm putting it in my office or my living room or my kitchen, and it is going to be my reminder of my spiritual nature, So it has this potentially christened token element to it, and also the fact that it's made by a human being who went through that wrestling with their lower and higher nature to be able to birth it, to create it. And also the imagery itself can speak to something that is holy and helps us open up and relax. So however you manage it, and I think even just having a window in your space or going outside can be a reminder, but those involve a little bit more intentionality. And sometimes you need those reminders when you're not even in the mindset to be looking for them, right? You need something when you're steeped in ego or stress or anxiety that just lowers that pressure a little bit and helps you connect with the big picture. And what is the big picture? The big picture is that all of these topical issues, even really important ones like your marriage and raising your children, all of these things on the surface of life, including paying bills and all that stuff, all of that is just on the surface of what's deep and true, what is the big purpose of all of it, and it is the spiritual journey that you are on, the growth and development of your soul, the legacy and impact that you will make in this limited time on this earth. That's the big picture. That's the big picture. And again, I believe that we need those reminders to help us take a breath and connect and remember the big picture. And that remembrance is the source of all of the strength, all of the hope, all of the joy, all of the stamina, all of the peace that we need to be the people we want to be and to have the richest lives. All of the good things, the source of which is our personal remembrance of the big picture. I think that's a really important concept to integrate. Life is not like a movie where a protagonist sees a light, makes a decision, and from then on is going to live differently. From then on, everything went great. It's a second by second, moment by moment remembrance, tuning in, tapping in, taking a breath, having a flash of the importance, the big picture, what we're really here for. And let's see, was there something else that I wanted to talk about? Well, that's the most important stuff. You can tune out now if that's what you want to do. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and like this video. But if you want to stick around a little bit longer, I thought I would share with you a bit of my process, which even though it's my paintings are this mystical opening, so to speak, it is quite a lumbering process. So I always want to make that clear that I don't paint in like a trance-like setting, trance-like state. You know, I'm not like claiming to be a channel in some sort of new age sense. And I think that in itself is worth knowing and is valuable, because there are so many overlaps and analogies here with the process of making art and the process of living, and this whole spiritual realism concept that we're talking about, that my work is made on a moment by moment, minute by minute basis, and it's often extremely practical. It can be challenging. I was working in my studio for a while in mid-July when the AC was out, and it was literally very sweaty. Like, it's not woo, it's very practical. But it's a process of showing up, having courage, taking a step, and evaluating the work and seeing what in it might be trying to emerge. And sometimes it's literally a shape that's emerged, and I think, and I often consult with my mom, my mentor, like, oh, it looks like this, maybe it's trying to become this. I sort of see a profile, a face in it. But it might also just be like, these colors here are working and these are not working, so keep this and keep developing this other part. And ultimately, I would like to see my work as windows, literally, for you and me to look at once they are complete. We look through this window or through a door to this mystical realm. And I am the lumbering, sweaty, awkward carpenter who showed up and put the hours in and evaluated and did his or her best, and was ultimately guided by the Holy Spirit, by divine inspiration, to get it to this point. So that is my process. In many of my art shows, when I used to travel BC before COVID, I talked about the Jungian concept that was also re-articulated by Sir Jordan Peterson, about the difference between art and propaganda. And propaganda is not necessarily bad. Propaganda is meant to propagate an idea. It is essentially like advertising for a concept or a product. And Jordan Peterson articulated that if the artist knows what he's doing, if he knows the moral of the story, so to speak, then it actually is not art, it is propaganda. And that true art unfolds for the artist as it does for the viewer. And I think that's very true, and that very much encapsulates the journey and the adventure that I always hope to go on, and usually do when on the road to completing a piece of artwork. So I hope that some of this about spiritual realism, about the nitty-gritty of it, and the big picture of it resonates with you, sort of touches an answering chord inside of you and gives you a little bit of spark of extra joy and courage to be the force in this life that you want to be, and to remember it's not just about today and putting food on the table. It's about the bigger impact, the spiritual choices that you make, because we will all be held accountable and have to answer for those choices. So a strong reminder, but I hope also a beautiful one that helps you get in touch with your peace, the true abiding peace. All right, my friends, thank you for taking this journey with me. Remember, again, to subscribe, to like, all that good stuff. I really enjoy your comments. It always inspires more reflection on my part, and in some cases, like this one, more podcasts. So it's really good stuff. If you'd like to support this channel, please check out the links below for various ways that you can do that. And until next time, my friends, I wish you the best for playing your unique part in making this world a better place. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.